Hey, it's Rachel, and I want to talk to you about some of the phrases you may be using with your kids and maybe even with your spouse that make situations worse. Now, I'm going to tell you why these phrases make the situation worse and what you can do instead. I will say that I'm not necessarily someone who thinks you have to watch every phrase you use and every word you choose when you're in a relationship, but there are some really common phrases that we all use that can make a situation deteriorate when it really doesn't have to. So the first of those phrases that we say a lot is calm down. When someone's really upset, maybe your child's upset because they didn't get invited to their friend's house or their friend canceled something on them, and we say calm down because to us it isn't that big of a deal. But here's what I want to ask you. When you're really upset or disappointed or frustrated with something, just imagine how big that feels. If someone says calm down to you, does that actually calm you down? There's this quote that I love that I've heard years ago, and I've been using it ever since because I think it is so dead on. The quote is, "Never in the history of human beings calming down has the phrase calm down ever calmed anyone down." And that is the truth. And that's basically because when we are flooded with emotions, when we're feeling really big things, we literally can't calm down that quickly. Our nervous system is engaged, and we actually can't just shut it off like that. So what do we do instead when our kids are, making a big deal out of nothing or we want them to calm down? What we want to do instead is actually say nothing. Because even saying something like, "I see you're upset right now," can actually make them more upset. So you don't need to say very much in that moment. In fact, I recommend that instead of focusing on calming them down, you focus on yourself and remaining calm yourself. Because ultimately what will calm them down is when they see us calm and in control. You probably know this from experience that the calmer you stay, the more quickly they get out of their big upset. But if you jump in, it tends to make things worse and take longer for them to get out of their place of yuck. So another phrase that I want to talk about is a cousin probably to the phrase calm down, which is "you're fine" or "it's not a big deal." So that phrase doesn't work. You've probably seen that before because when your child is really feeling upset by something, like let's say maybe they tripped over something and they have this little tiny cut and we want them to know they really are fine. But ultimately, when they're in that space where they feel fine, where they don't feel fine at that moment, maybe it's because that cut really hurts, but more likely it's because they're embarrassed or they're mad at themselves for doing that. When we say "you're fine," we're actually telling them that their feelings are wrong, and it makes them dig their heels in more. It's almost like they have to insist that they're really hurt, so they talk even more about it because we've told them that they're fine. So what do we do instead to help them see that they're going to be fine and not to make as big a deal out of it? Instead of overreacting to their response or even underreacting to their response and just ignoring it, all you have to do is acknowledge it. So saying something like, "I'm sorry that happened," or "it looks like that hurt." And then you don't have to say anything else. Just like I was saying with the last phrase of calm down, really what you want to do in those moments is just stay calm and in control yourself. And ultimately, when you are calm and you are in control, that actually helps them to calm down. But getting engaged and making a big deal out of their big deal really just makes things worse. So I hope that gives you some ideas of the phrases you might want to switch up a little bit, why those phrases don't work, and what you can do instead. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me at rachel@rachel-bailey.com. I'll see you next time.